Hi there, my name is John Stevens. I'm pastor of Zion Lutheran Church in Oregon City, Oregon, and we are part of the ELCA, and welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary texts and I tie them to an item from the Dollar Tree or the junk drawer, the kids' room or the garage, one of those places. I am so glad you're here, and let me remind you that you are rocking it. Our congregations are gone through a very hard time in the last 2 years, and they grieve, and sometimes their grief gets expressed in unhealthy ways. And if you have had that expressed to you in those ways, let me remind you that you are rocking it and you are doing a fantastic job. So blessings and peace be on you, and we'll leave later with that sending of peace. We're looking at the narrative lectionary, and this is the story of Lazarus being raised by Jesus. So there's a couple of springboards that can go on here. One is that we can look at the text, Jesus wept, or Jesus began to weep, and so the springboard on that would be tissue paper. And at the Dollar Tree, they've got Kleenex, little packs of Kleenex that they've got characters on it that you could tie that into something that you like. So there's that. What I'm being drawn to, and I think I've had children's sermons on that in the past, so you can look on the site and find other children's sermons on this. But the springboard that I am looking at, or the idea that it leads to my springboard, is the unbind him and let him go. That Jesus raises Lazarus, and he comes out and he says, unbind him and let him go. I love that phrase because the community comes in to help set Lazarus free. Jesus has raised him. He has got new life, but he's still bound. And so the community comes in, unbind him and set him free. So, a couple of the springboards, it's all about the same stuff, but different items. One of the items that I have, I've got a pair of handcuffs that I actually, it's linked. There's a link in there that's been cut out. But what I would do is in the Dollar Tree, I couldn't find any today, and there might be some by the time that you're using this, but a pair of fake handcuffs and linked together, not this would be called gaffed, not gaffed in any way, but you've got the handcuffs and you've got them on, and I'm dropping that one here, but they're together. You're in handcuffs, plastic handcuffs, and you need help getting out of them. And you're like, you're there and you're asking the kids, you unbind me and set me free. So there's that idea. But I also realized that we're talking about handcuffs, and that does not have the same. It's triggering for a lot of folks. So if the handcuffs are one of those things where you're like, I just can't use that in my setting, I get it. So the other is, it can be either a long piece of rope where you're tied together, unbind him and set him free. And again, that. So these are ways that you might be bound, that you're being set free. And if I was using this children's sermon as a springboard in my high school or middle school class, I might talk about what are some of the ways that we are bound. What are some of the ways that we are bound? How has our past bound us? And that would be tying into some more of that thing. So the item that I'm suggesting, so I've got you've got the fake, you've got the plastic handcuffs, you've got rope. I would go the same route but a different item, and I would use toilet paper. I would use that tissue paper, so basically have a worship assistant, have someone that's there before the children's sermon. Your hands are wrapped, and they're wrapped tight. They're bound with toilet paper. And you can struggle. I mean, you could easily just break it, but you got struggle and you can't get out, and then have the kids help you. Unbind me and set me free. I can't do it. And so it's a way of getting the point across, but it's not using handcuffs and it's not using a rope. Those could work in your setting, but I think the toilet paper wrapped around your hands would be a kinder image. And actually it plays into the Lazarus story. I think about my son Peter, who is going to be 20, and when wrapped in, he was a little kid, and they would make him, basically the mummy wrapped in toilet paper and stuff like that. So there's that. It works for me, that toilet paper being bound, and unbind him and set him free. All right, I'm hoping this can be a springboard for your own thinking around your children's sermon. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for being part of this ministry. And may the peace of God, which passes all understanding, guard your hearts and your minds from this day on and forevermore. Blessings and peace, and we will see you next week.